All right. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to have us on today's Safeoclock Health and Safety Interactive Workshop. So I'll start with the brief presentation, as our culture has been. And after the presentation, Mr. Stephen will share his own presentation as well. Then after that, we'll give room for others to share their view and share their opinion on the topic of discussion for the day. So today, we are talking about World Day of Social Justice. So that's the topic we are discussing today, the World Day of Social Justice. I hope you can see my screen.
Yes, can see your screen.
Okay. So in this brief presentation, we'll be looking at what is this celebration all about. And to cap it, we are going to talk about our role as health and safety professionals, our role in this, in ensuring justice in workplace. So how do we do that? What are the efforts or what are the actions that is expected of us to take to ensure that there is justice in workplaces? So that is where majorly we come in as health and safety professionals. So we are going to discuss that, and I expect that everybody will contribute and share his or her own opinion or regards what health and safety professionals can do to ensure that there's justice in the workplace. And that is what today's celebration is all about. So let's begin the presentation. So today is the World Day of Social Justice. It's celebrated all over the world every 20th of February. So today happens to be 20th of February, 2025. So we are celebrating World Day of Social Justice. And there are presentations, there are events that are going on all over the world. Even ILO is hosting virtual event and live events. So I was able to attend for some minutes where different representatives from different countries all over the world spoke about what they are doing at the moment to ensure that there is social justice in their country, especially as regards to labor rights and labor privileges. So those are what is going on at the moment today. So I think this is an opportunity for us also to air our view, guide ourselves, and know where the world is going to. Especially one of the topics that ILO is talking about today is social justice in this emerging artificial intelligence. So let's continue with our presentation. So what is World Day of Social Justice? The history behind it is, it started in 2007 when the United Nations General Assembly formally established World Day of Social Justice by its 62nd session. During the 62nd session of United Nations, they established this World Day of Social Justice in 2007. And this decision was to ensure that there is social development and social justice to help achieve peace and security among the nations. Now, the first observance of this World Day of Social Justice was in 2009. And remember, it's every 20th of February each year. So the first observance of World Day of Social Justice was in 2009, after it was inaugurated by United Nations in 2007. So this is the history behind it. Let's look at what is social justice. In a layman's term, social justice is talking about equal rights, equal economic, political, and social rights and opportunities. So this is what social justice is talking about. So social justice aims at eliminating discrimination and ensuring that everybody benefits from economic opportunities. Okay, so social justice is talking about creating an environment or creating a society where everyone has opportunity to thrive. Now, as health and safety professionals, let's narrow it down to our workplace. Creating an opportunity in the workplace where everyone has the opportunity to thrive, where everyone has the opportunity to succeed, survive, grow potentially. That is what social justice is talking about. And social justice recognizes that there are different races, there are different cultures, there are different backgrounds, but putting up a system where everyone is treated equally, or putting up a system where everyone is recognized equally, where inequalities are not attributed, or inequalities are not promoted in the workplace. That is what today's celebration is talking about, maintaining social justice all over the society, and in particular our workplace. So we'll be looking at the areas where health and safety professionals comes in. So what are some of the examples that will say that there is an injustice in the workplace, especially in your workplace? Let's take few examples. One of them is discrimination. During the hiring process, if the hiring manager, maybe they are biased. During the promotion, they are biased. You see somebody that you came to the workplace before him, and in less than 1 year, he's been promoted twice, yet you are still at the same place. You are still at the same level. So this is what we talk about, or what we regard to as injustice. Okay, then another one is unequal pay. Unequal pay in the sense that some people are doing the same job, they're in the same hierarchy, they're in the same position, but their pay is not the same. They're not getting the same amount of salary. That is also an example of injustice. Harassment, when a supervisor or a manager keeps harassing, giving you intimidations. So those are also an example of injustice. Another example is on equal opportunities. When there is training, when a training opportunity comes in, the supervisor selects people that he likes and put up those that he doesn't like. And those ones will not get the opportunity to train. Limited access to resources. When maybe there is a closeout that is supposed to be done, two people that require the resources, but one person is giving, the other person is not giving. Exclusion from decision making. When proper decisions are being made, he will not be called upon. He will ask to go to the site for inspections, and before he comes, all the decisions has been made, all the prominent locations has been selected. Those are examples of discriminations and examples of injustice in the workplace. Another example is unfair treatment, where a worker gets a disciplinary action that he doesn't deserve, or where there is no respect accorded to the worker because of his level in the workplace, or because of his position, he's not respected, he's spoken to anyhow. Unsafe working conditions, where the management refuses to take action to prevent incidents or to promote health and safety in the workplace, making the workplace unsafe. These are some of the examples of injustice. Systemic issues, when there is no diversity and inclusion policy in the workplace. You see that maybe in that workplace you have few of these nationalities and most of these nationalities. So when decision is being made, the nationality that have the minority are not included, they are not consulted. So those are some of the examples of injustice that go on in the workplace. Another example that cannot be overlooked is work-life balance. when people are not given adequate rest. For instance, people working in a workplace that they don't have time off, they don't have time to go to take break, they work 12 hours straight, 7 days in a week, no proper life balance. You see, no unrealistic expectations. They're expected to achieve much with little resources. They're expected to be at the work every time without minding how their health is or not. So these are some of the examples of the injustice that we talk about. So when we'll be looking at social justice in the workplace or in the society, these are some of the examples of the things that we'll see going on that we refer to as social injustice. And that is what today's celebration is talking about. The world in general is looking at how this social injustice can be curbed and how it can be minimized at the barest minimum. So as health and safety professionals, we have also a role to play in achieving this. So what are the roles of health and safety professionals? What exactly can we do in ensuring that these social injustices in the workplace are reduced or are discouraged? The first thing we can do is do our job efficiently by ensuring that the workplace is safe. Our job as health and safety professionals is to provide a safe work environment, give adequate advice, give proper monitoring, give proper inspections, ensure that the hazards are identified on time, that the risks are evaluated, and adequate actions are taken. So when we are doing this, we are contributing our part in ensuring justice, because if the workplace is safe and free from incident, then we have contributed our part in ensuring that there is justice in the social life of the workers. Another thing that we can do is protecting vulnerable workers. There are some workers who, for instance, maybe they do not speak the same language with the supervisor, or maybe the worker is still fresh, he's not experienced. So it's part of our duty to ensure that we protect those vulnerable workers, those ones that cannot speak for themselves, those ones that cannot actually stand for themselves. So it's part of our duty as health and safety professionals to stand for them and to protect them. So if we do this, then we are contributing to ensuring social justice in the workplace. Another thing that we can do is promoting mental well-being, ensuring that we counsel people, we counsel the workers. When a particular worker is not sociable, is not mingling with others, is always isolated, because we are in the workplace, because we are always available, we can identify when something is wrong with somebody, and we render our own help to ensure that their mental well-being is taken care of. We can recommend them to go for consultation. We can recommend them to take some exercise. We can do a lot of things to ensure that we promote their well-being. Okay, we can promote mental awareness campaigns. We can do a whole lot of things to ensure that the workers' mental health and well-being are taken care of. Then the other things we can do is to advocate for fair labor, ensure that the workers' rights are upheld. If the supervisor or the engineer or the person ahead of him is trying to trample on his rights, as health and safety professionals, it's part of our job to advocate for the worker's right. Ensure that he's not maltreated, he's not victimized, and his right is upheld. For instance, if a worker has completed his shift and the supervisor, out of malice or out of discrimination, decides to cut his job, his work hours. So it's part of our duty to also ensure that we intervene, ensure that we take it up, whoever that should be spoken to ensure that his rights are well protected. We should also promote decent work, ensuring that the workers, they take their time, do their job safely, and in safe environment. We should also encourage social dialogue by putting together different activities that can bring the workers together to ensure that they interact with each other, they understand what is going on, and they contribute to the safety and welfare of other workers in the workplace. Encouraging social dialogue will help to ease some of the mental fatigue, to ease some of the discouragements that they are passing through, because there is social dialogue, there is interactions, people are being spoken to, and people are listening to each other. Then that is some of the actions that we can take as health and safety professionals to help to promote social justice in the workplace. Another thing that we can do is to contribute to sustainable development by protecting the environment, ensuring that the environment is protected, ensuring that degradation is discouraged, putting up measures and putting up some advice that will ensure that waste is properly managed, the environment is properly taken care of, the air monitoring is done, proper waste disposals. So these are some of the sustainable measures that we can take, or some of the measures we can take to contribute to sustainable development in that workplace. Another thing is we can support community well-being by ensuring that the workers interact with each other, by ensuring that the location where we are based, the community where we are based, or where the site or where the workplace is located, that there is mutual coordination, mutual respect for each other, respect for cultures, respect for traditions, respect for whatever the community holds sacred. So that is a way that we ensure that there's social justice, because nobody is trapping on each other's rights, nobody is trapping on each other's decisions, and people respect each other. And that is the way that health and safety professionals can contribute in ensuring that there is social justice in their workplace and where they are. Okay, so I've exhausted my slide. I will give room for Mr. Stephen to share his own presentation.
Okay. Let's see what I have. Yes. Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible, but your screen is still loading.
Mm. Sorry, I think it's a little bit freezing, but just a minute.
Yeah, it's on now.
It's on now. Okay. I don't know, a little bit kind of freezing. I don't know why. Okay, maybe it's network. Yeah. So, like Mr. Johnson said, he has poured more light on this. We are talking about uh, into that introduction aspect. Okay, so in view of that, I would like to move to the just a minute. I don't know, this my antivirus is, I think, is expired and is it's always popping up. Yeah, sorry for that. So as a professional, when we talk about social justice, when the word social comes in, when we look at what is being said today, when we talk about the ESG, We are talking about environment, social, and governance. So we know that when it comes to safety, it falls, when we talk about health and safety, it falls within the social component part of this ESG. And when you talk about ESG and sustainability, you see everything works in synergy, and from the point that Mr. Johnson have said, there's one of his slide that talks about workplace injustice that he emphasized and gave series of examples, So I think it's very important for us to have a capture of that particular slide. Now, with what you have said so far and with my little contribution, I just want us to get a glimpse of a little bit understanding of social justice and its dimension. When we talk about social justice, it has to deal with equity. There must be an equal right. There must be an equality. In law, they say equality before the law. So as an health and safety practitioner, we are just like, how will I call it? We are a social activist. Okay, I would say we are human rights activists, when it comes to the workplace. And as a matter of fact, I want to assure us and tell every one of us here today that whatever we do or whatever we do in our workplaces, it's what we call social justice. Did you understand? Every role and responsibility you do in your workplaces, it is what we are doing is that we are advocating, we are ensuring that there is social justice. Also, the legislation we see around, the Health and Safety at Work Act, the ISO standards and all that, regulations, all these things are in place as part of social justice. So in it, in the term justice, social justice, there must be an inclusion. You understand? A place, a society or workplace whereby everyone feels valued, respected, and has this equal right and able to participate fully without discrimination and all that. Mr. Johnson has said a lot about it, but I will just be coming on with some little stuff like that. So every individual in the workplace must have access. Now, in the workplace, when we talk about resources, to be able to manage safety, to be able to manage the health and safety of the workers. When we talk about resources, we know it encompasses so many aspects of it, thereby bringing in awareness, training, induction, PPE, welfare, healthcare, education, even housing, even your wages, the wages we earn as a health and safety practitioner, all these things falls, and other workers, all these things fall into the resources. You understand? So it could be financial, it could be um, human effort and all that, So all these resources are very, very important. We're talking about social justice. Now, going forward, when we talk about social justice and workplace safety, we should understand that it is a fundamental to safety, as the word is, or will I say health and safety, is a fundamental aspect of social justice, which I've said when I give an example of ESG. When I talk about the social, it's about health and safety. Okay, so we should know this and we should know it, because it's not about they are celebrating what day of social justice. We are thinking it has to do with things that are not related to safety. As a matter of fact, I've not seen anything in the world today that does not have health and safety attached to it. If it is not being implemented in many parts of the world or many parts of the continent, that might be an issue. But even in our respective homes, in schools, health and safety are really big issues that in a developed society, it creates an opportunity for professionals to excel and exploit. Okay, so, and also I want us to understand that it also encompasses physical, emotional, and psychological well-being. You understand? So anything that affects an individual psychological need, anything that affects an individual mental health issues, all about social justice. So in whichever way, that is why you see as a professional in terms of health and safety, you see those are places we come in. See, we need this knowledge because sometimes it's not about, we might not have the opportunity to implement direct, but we might have an opportunity to influence management. We might have an opportunity to consult for so many organizations. So these are things we need to take home with. You understand? In fact, this is our jurisdiction. When you talk about social justice, when it's in relation to workplace, it's our jurisdiction. You might be talking about social justice in the legal aspect and all that. In every jurisdiction, everybody has their roles and responsibility. Like Mr. Johnson have clearly made it clear for us to understand this fact. And also, a safe work environment is also an important aspect for social equity. You know, when we preach about sustainability, you know, this is something that is widely preached these days. You know, when you talk about sustainability these days, all is still part of social justice. So there is no way we have, in fact, we have 101% stake, you know, in the advocacy of social justice, implementation, ensuring that all these things work. Okay. So when we talk about occupational health and safety and social justice connection, you see this safe workplace are essential for social justice, which we have mentioned earlier. Each professional play a key role in protecting workers' rights. Okay, because it is very important that we know that every country has their labor laws and all that. So you see, in some places, we have to advocate, we have to stand for workers, we have to say to management that no, this they have this right, this is their right, this is what the labor law says. Because in previous organizations I've worked, when there are issues that has to do with the right of workers, I always come in. Some always come to me. You understand? So, like we that were in Qatar, as an health and safety professional, you need to know the local law, you know, when it comes to workers' rights in any country or jurisdiction you find yourself, because it is your responsibility as an health and safety professional to know it. You don't need to be a lawyer because you're going to be quoting, you're going to be using it to defend a lot of things, you know. So, and part of it is ensuring a fair and equitable treatment in the workplace, you know, because this will also enhance how we control the risk and hazard in our workplace. This thing has a lot of connection, a lot. If we have time to go through it individually, we'll get to understand. And the critical link between occupational health and safety and social justice is that occupational health and safety promote a safe and healthy work environment, contributing to the well-being of all workers, not selected workers. So safe workplace also foster a sense of security and belonging, you know, because it is very crucial for individual and society and societal well-being, you know, when we talk of social justice. And also another point we need to note is that as a professional, we are also an advocate, we are social activists. It is our responsibility, not you should. It is our responsibility as long as social justice is concerned. We are an activist, whether we call it social activist or human rights activist in the context of the workplace, you know. So we need to always keep advocating for fairness, equity in our workplaces to ensure equal protection for all without discrimination. And also, there are some challenges, you know, in the workplace safety, you know, that we might encounter as an health and safety practitioner, because if there is inadequate enforcement of regulation, you can find out that in a developing country, in some country in Africa, where there's inadequate enforcement of health and safety regulations, you discover that the issue of social justice is always a big challenging issue because in a society or a country or a continent where there is no proper enforcement of regulation, you see that even you as an activist or as a social activist to advocate for all these things, you might be having some challenges in terms of the implementation. And also lack of resources in certain industry uh, could be a challenge also for us to keep advocating and push for this justice. And also another point is that addressing mental health in the workplace uh, can be another challenging aspect, with respect of uh, which continent. I don't want to specify country. I want to be using continent, because there are so many continents in the world today that when you talk about mental health, they don't see it as anything. But when you go to a civilized society, they don't joke with mental health issues. I know what I'm talking about because I've had an opportunity, I've interacted with a lot of people and also with travel experience and all that. I know what I'm talking about. And I know what those who are in the Western world, what they benefit in terms of mental health. I know what I'm talking about. So we might have those challenges from where things are just coming up and things are not done properly. And also resistance to change, when there are a lot of changes happening, it might be from the workers, it might be from the management, it might be from the government as a whole or as a country, because when we talk about mental health well-being issues, there are some country, there's some developing country that even their government does not care about it. Even the issue of sustainability, climate change that you see today, a lot of country have pumped a lot of money to ensure that they reduce their carbon footprint. Why in some other countries you discover that they don't care. These are the level of the governmental level. So it's not on a company alone. At a different country level, we have to look at it. We need to embrace social justices in whatever we do in general, because it will definitely have a reflection in our respective workplace. So going forward, you just like as Mr. Johnson have said, just look at some few key responsibilities to just add to what he has said. We have to promote healthy work environment, addressing emerging risks in a changing workplace. As we all know, the emergence of technology, we've discussed something about artificial intelligence before. So such kind of advancement, it poses its own risk into the environment, into the workspace. So we need to be alerted. We need to be mentally aware as well, of these emerging risks. So many things that happens when there's a change in the work environment, structures, and all that. We tend to get what we call emerging risks. So we need to get this information, know how to manage them in the workplace as an health and safety practitioner. We also need to also strengthen occupational health and safety system, in order for us to maintain this social justice we are talking about. Because when you look at the ISO 45001, all the things that is written there, which is from the ILO, you discover that everything is aimed at, social justice. So, and also when we talk about ensuring compliance with safety regulation, just like I've said, those regulations standard all are for social justice. And also we have to look at some ethical responsibility as a professional from our side in promoting equity, because there should be a fairness, we need to have respect for everybody, because we need to treat all workers with dignity, with respect, with value. We need to value their diversity, irrespective of where you are coming in terms of religion, culture, and all that. Everybody, we need to give everybody equal respect, and there should be transparency. We need to have this open mind, this honesty in dealing with risk related issues, with safety procedure, with well-being, with the treatment of workers generally. We don't need to be biased. And like I've said, in terms of advocacy, which is one of our primary crown that we carry, we need to champion the rights of all workers to ensure that they have there's equitable workplace for everybody to thrive and do their work safely. And also, there's an area I want us to look at, like the biopsychosocial approach. You know, we need to have a kind of holistic view, of our roles, as an health and safety practitioner. And in doing that, we also need to consider some biological, psychological, and social factor, that can affect workers in the workplace. And as a social activist, we need to help address persistent inequality in the workplace, that might lead to injury and illness. And addressing inequities, in the workplace safety, we need to recognize several we've mentioned, in order to 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 make the workplace safe. We also need to implement safe policy or safety policy and practices. These are things we are familiar with. There's nothing that is strange from what we've been saying so far. And we also need to focus on eliminating discrimination and promoting equality in our workplaces. And also, we need to look at some practical strategy, in creating an inclusive, safe workplaces. In order to do that as a practitioner, we have to promote diversity and inclusivity in our workplace policies and practice. We need to establish a clear common as in a clear communication channels to address concerns and ensure that every worker feel feelings or concerns ahead. So you cannot be communicating and especially for you, those of us in the Middle East, you just communicate only in English, and you have some people who does not really understand English. You get it. So if you are doing it in the favor for those who understand English without those who does not understand English clearly, you discover that there's no equality, there's no equal treatment. So these are the areas. That's why, especially in the Middle East, you see sometimes we put signages. Those things are translated in either Arabic or Hindi in order for us to pass the message clear. And also, we need to provide an accessible safety training and resources tailored to the need of all workers, which is very, very important. Like I've said, design workplace that are accessible, and accommodating for all employee, because it is very, very important. There must be equality. Everybody must have equal rights. It's all about social justice. It's all about equal rights. So for safety professional, looking at the future, we need to adopt a more comprehensive approach to our workplace safety. What we are doing today is an eye opener for us to understand our roles, to remind us that whatever we've been doing in the past years, most of us don't know that we are advocating. Some of us don't know that we are standing for the right of the workers, and even some of the workers do not know. So these are things that when we mentor most of them, we need to make them understand this is why we are here, this is why we are paid, this is why we are doing this and that. This is why sometimes we need to raise our voices, and to scold them sometimes. So, and also we need to integrate social determinants, of health into our practices as a professional, and also collaborate with other stakeholders to promote social justice in the workplace. And we also need to look at um, addressing some systematic barrier in occupational health and safety by uncover some challenges or bias or discrimination in the workplace policies and practice. Because you might go to an organization, you see some policies that are there, you see some practices that are there that are biased, that are discriminatory in nature. That is why, as a professional, we have the right to review these stuffs, these policies and practices. So if we understand our role in terms of social justices, then we'll know when we are reviewing our health and safety policy, procedures and practice, we need to put in social justice at the forefront of our review of any health and safety document, so that we don't just design things to favor the organization alone. We have to look at the people, we have to look at the workers, we need to look at advocating for inclusive legislation and regulation that protect all workers. We have to also partner with marginalized community to address specific need and challenges. Also, we have to look at promoting a culture of sensitivity and awareness in the workplace safety initiative that we always do in our workplace. Is very, very important to have that at the back of our mind. And our last slide here is just telling us about the conclusion and call to action as a professional, in terms of empowering ourselves for the just future. As we all know, as a professional, it is very crucial in advancing social justice globally. And also, I want us to understand that our work also contributes to building a fairer and more equitable society. And also what we've been doing in the past and what we still currently do is to continue to focus on inclusive and comprehensive safety measure as it is essential for a safer workplace. And also I will leave us by telling us that by embracing ethical responsibility and implementing a practical, strategic, and addressing the systematic barriers, we as a professional can also play a vital role in creating a world where workers are safe and where the work environment is healthy for every individual, irrespective of your social status. Thank you very much for giving me the time for listening. And it's my pleasure to be here with you today. Thank you. Mr. Johnson, over to you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Stephen. Thank you for your time. Thank you for the research. Thank you for bringing out your time to put this together. We really appreciate. Mr. Tayab, you are raising your hand. You have contribution. You can go ahead.
Mr. Johnson, thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. So I just raised my hand mistakenly. So I just appreciate for your participation and especially from Mr. Stefan as well. So both have significant, important point have been discussed by you. And I think so they have also increased my knowledge about the social justice. And I think ILO and UNO are enforcing all the rules all over the world globally, and they are trying to equalize any kind of discrimination and also about the unfairness justice wherever it right now is existing. The world countries where OHS rules and also social justice are not being implemented fully, so they need to be complied and ensure compliance by the ILO and also by the UN and also by their local laws. So by enforcement, we can achieve very well without any hazardous places and also about the equality and equity and also inclusion and diversity, especially women inclusions and also about the disability people who hold such kind of impairedness. So I think so everybody who will participate in such a wonderful session will get acquainted such a in-depth, insightful knowledge about the occupational health and safety and how can we relate each other, OHS and social justice. So thank you very much, Mr. Stefan as well, Johnson. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Engineer Tayab. Thank you for your time and thank you for your contribution. All right, the floor is open. Someone else wants to contribute, can go ahead quickly. Any contribution, go ahead.
Mr. Kalu Joseph and Mr. Ali Adakole. I think seems you people have some contribution. Well, maybe the topic of today is well comprehended and and everybody is short of one or two things to say, but I believe the message and discussion so far is very clear. Like I've said, whether you are young or old health and safety practitioner, I just want to assure us that whatever we have been doing since the day we joined this profession is all about social justice. So definitely, I believe maybe it is just somebody who is just new who wants to join the profession that might really have one or two things to ask, probably, and probably not to contribute. But generally, from my own perspective and from my own research, what I understand is that whatever we've been doing right from time is all about social justice. When you go to your workplace and ensure that workers work without injury, workers must go home the way they came. Workers must be healthy, no mental health issue. You see workers, they are not using helmets on site. You try to give them some kind of push. No, you must use your helmet. You must use your safety harness. You must have permit before you do certain work. All this part of social justice. we are not having fun, to ensure compliance. There's nothing, we are not like really gaining anything. Like, oh, does it add money into my pocket or does it add promotion? No. It's because for we who are in the profession, I believe we have the passion for human life, just like the way medical doctors are, So we are also there as a medium to protect, to make sure that when people are making mistake, we tend to correct them. For me, that is it. We are at the heart. I would just say we are part of the center of gravity of social justice. I will leave it at that.
All right. Thank you for that closing remark, Mr. Stephen. And that is in summary of what social justice is. It's something that we've been doing already, and it's something that we'll continue to do. Though we are doing it unconsciously or maybe not knowing that this is the term, but we are part of the social justice advocates. We advocate for social justice, and we've been doing that from the day one we joined the profession. So we'll continue to do that, and let everyone, all hands should be on deck to ensure that you look out for the workers, not just for yourself. Mr. Omojede, go ahead.
Yes, Mr. Stephen and Taubina, I want to say I really appreciate your good work in this workshop. For these years, you guys have been, I would say, you guys have been doing social justice too for us here, because this platform really creates an opportunity for us to hear things we've not heard before, learn from experiences from you guys that have been in the field for donkey years now. So I would say I really appreciate you. I don't have anything to say. I, you guys this workshop. So every now and then experienced professionals that come on board to tell us, wow, I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. You have a great day, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mojede. Thank you for your wonderful contribution. I appreciate others who have also joined, Mr. Ali and Jasim, Mr. Toheb. We appreciate Engineer Tayab. So thank you guys for joining. Next week, we plan to discuss about NEBOSH open book exam strategies. So we'll be reaching out to training centers. Engineer Tayab, we'll be reaching out to training centers that have candidates that will be writing exam next month. So they let the candidates, let them join the session. We are going to expose the secrets to passing the open book exam, because we have examiners, NEBOSH examiners, who will be speaking to give insight of what the candidates can do to be able to pass the exam easily. So that is what we'll be treating next week, Thursday. So we'll reach out to training centers that have candidates. They should send them, let them join the session next Thursday, so that we'll be able to give them insight on how to write this exam and pass effortlessly. So that is for next week.
Okay, well, I will try to inform them, everybody who are intent to get enrolled in the coming session for the Nibosh. So please send me the link.
Yes, I will send the link today or tomorrow. So I will send it early enough so that they will get prepared.
Okay, the next session for the our on next Thursday will be on Nibosh.
Yes,
Open book
Nebosh
exam?
open book exam strategy. That's what we'll treat next.
Okay. I will try. I will disseminate everything you will share with me, and hopefully the maximum number of participants will try to get into your offer online session for the Nibosh
Yeah.
open book exam. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. So guys, thank you guys, and see you next week.
Bye bye.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye. We appreciate. Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.